Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Angela. I'm 32 years old. I am on the WW Blue plan, and I've been doing this plan since like September of last year. To date, I've lost right around 30 pounds. I keep kind of hovering around that 30-pound mark. I'm not stopping anytime soon. I am going to keep pushing out videos like this, so if this video interests you and you are not already subscribed, I hope you would consider doing so. So today I'm doing a meal prep, and I thought I would show you all the things that I'm doing. To me, meal prepping has been one of the successes. That's been one of the things that has helped me succeed in weight loss. So what I do is I typically make 1 or 2 different lunches. I put them, like a couple of them, in the refrigerator, and then I freeze the rest of them because I am someone that does not want to eat the same meal prep Monday through Friday when I'm at work. Today I am meal prepping white chicken chili, vegetable lasagna, which I'm not even sure if you could call it that. It's like a veggie bake kind of, and chicken stroganoff. So if I can do those 3 things today, I will be very happy. I'm also going to be prepping a couple of breakfasts. I don't know if I'm gonna prep the breakfast burrito bowls today, but the other breakfast item that I'm gonna prep are egg and bacon cups, I guess you could call them. Those will probably be mostly for Chris, something easy for him to grab and go. I think the points should be pretty low. Also, all the points that you see associated with these plans are for the blue plan. I will leave measurements of what I used throughout the meal prep process, so that way if you are not on the blue plan, you could plug in the measurements to your green plan or your purple plan, and you would get a more accurate point value. So let me start. I guess I could start with the white chicken chili, so let me show you what I'm using. So the recipe I'm using is from foodahead.com. This was probably back when it was the freestyle plan. So I'm halving this recipe. So I'm gonna use 1 pound of chicken, which I already have in the pot there. I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of cumin, ½ teaspoon of garlic, although, you know what, I like garlic, so I'm probably still gonna do the full teaspoon. I'll do like a ½ teaspoon of onion powder, salt and pepper. I'm gonna use, it calls for 2 cans of beans, but I am just gonna use 1 can of Great Northern beans, and then it calls for, so because I'm only using 1 can of beans, I'm not worrying about the other kind, a 14-ounce can of corn. I have a 8-ounce can of corn, 16 ounces of green salsa, so I'm just gonna use half of this. 4 cups of chicken broth, so I will use 2. I am just going to make 2 cups with this chicken bouillon. So I'm gonna put all of this. Oh, you know what? I'm also probably gonna add some onion too, just because I like onion, and I've got 4 of them that I need to use. I'm gonna add everything to here. I'll put it in my Instant Pot. I'm not gonna use it on the pressure cooker setting. I'm gonna use it on the slow cooker setting. So I'll put this on high for like 3 or 4 hours. Once that's done, I'll let it cool. And I am kind of annoyed with these containers. I got them from Walmart, and I guess I thought they were just 1 container. I didn't think they had this compartment here. It's not a huge deal, but yeah, so once that's cool, I will then section it into, I don't know, like 4 or 5 meals, and then that one will be done. So the next thing I'm making is called chicken stroganoff. I got the idea from Felicia Fitness Health. I will link her channel down below. So here is what I'm using to do the chicken stroganoff. So to the pan, I'm gonna spray it with, so I'm gonna spray my pan with this Chosen Foods avocado oil spray. I've talked about this in a previous video. but the reason why I like it so much is the ingredients are just avocado oil. I'm not using all of these onions. I'm gonna use like 2/3 of them, and then the other third is gonna be used for the next recipe I make. So I'm gonna add onions. This is making 4 servings, by the way. So, you know, like, is gonna go in the pan. And then I'm also gonna add in mushrooms. I use canned. You could totally use fresh, but canned is what I have. I'll also add garlic when I do the onions and the mushrooms too, so I'll get that going. I have a pan going with water, so I will be boiling some of this Live G-free, gluten-free, organic brown rice and quinoa pasta. I don't have a gluten intolerance or anything like that, but when Felicia made hers, she used a brown rice pasta. I was at Aldi, I found this. I've used this before, clearly the bag is open, and I really, really like it. I would definitely buy this again. So I'm gonna measure 175 grams in that dish and then boil that. And then once the mushrooms and onions are kind of cooked down a little bit, I will also be adding a pound of chicken. And then before I add this ingredient, you're probably like, why do you have cottage cheese? I'll tell you in a second. So once this is all cooked down, I will add probably like half the bag of spinach. The other half is going in the next recipe I'm making. And then to make the sauce, all you do is mix low-fat cottage cheese. I'm only going to use 1 cup of this, so it'll be a 1/4 cup in each serving. When Felicia makes hers, it's 1/3 cup, but I'm just gonna do a 1/4 just to make it kind of easy. Each serving will equal out to 5 points. Let me get the pasta measured. All right, so I'm gonna turn on my scale, make sure it zeroes out, change it to grams, and then ooh, let's see, 1 more should do it. Nope, there we go, 175. So as soon as that water is boiling, I'll add that in. Let me get my veggies going. Spinach is wilted down, so I'm going to turn the heat way down. I'm going to add pasta. Alright, I think I may have like slightly overcooked the pasta, so I don't want to mix it around too much. So before I mix that all together, I'm also going to add my 1 cup of cottage cheese. Now we mix it around, and you will see that the cottage cheese will start to melt, so it doesn't stay like, you know, clumpy cottage cheese. All those curds, they melt, and it just turns into this like melty, cheesy goodness. I might need an actual spoon. That'll work. So again, I do still have the heat on low, just to help melt the cottage cheese. And that's what it looks like once all the cottage cheese has melted. So now what I'm gonna do is kind of let that chill for a second. I do see on Instagram in the Weight Watchers community, sometimes people have a hard time estimating serving sizes. So I can show you how I figure it out. What I will do, and this does dirty an extra dish, but in my mind, it's just worth it to me. What I will do is I know, this supposedly made 4 servings. To be honest, I could probably do 5. So I'll start with 4 because 4 is only worth 5 points, and that's okay for lunch to me, especially if I know I'm having a low point breakfast, which I usually do. It equals out. So what I would do is I would put this whole meal in a big bowl. I would put the bowl on my food scale, zero that out, and then put all of this food in the bowl. I set it to grams, and then whatever total those grams are, I divide that total by 4, and that tells me how much a serving is. So then what I would do is grab my meal prep container, put it on my scale, zero it out, and take out of the bowl the amount of grams that I know a serving is. So for example, let's say this is gonna be more than that, but let's say I have 1,000 grams, right? So what I would do is divide that by 4, that's 250 grams. So I know that 250 grams is a serving size that needs to go into my meal prep container. So once I get all that situated, I can show you how I do that, and then decide if this is gonna be 4 servings or 5. This would be 4 really good sized servings. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so see, I got a big container. I put all of the food in there, and now I've set it to grams. So we've got 1,324. So I'm gonna put 1,324 into my, into my calculator, and then I divide that by 4. So that's the servings I said I was gonna do. So that tells me 331 is the amount of grams that I need to put in there. You could do this one of 2 ways. You could take this off, and then you could put this on here, zero it out, and then just fill the container until you hit 331 grams. What I'm gonna do is just zero this out, and now what I'll do is take a spoon, and I'm gonna dig out of this until it says negative 331. This is not easy to do with one hand. So we're at 231, so I still got some 331. There, close enough. So again, I'm kind of annoyed that I bought the ones with 2 sides. If I had something else to go on the side, like green beans or something like that, I could totally do that. But for right now, I'm just gonna fill up this side. So I'm gonna do, and I think that's a decent size serving. I mean, this dish is pretty deep. So right there is 1 serving of the chicken stroganoff. I'm gonna do that 3 more times, and then I will have my meal prep done for chicken stroganoff. I feel like I'm pooping out and I only have 1 meal done and 1 cooking. What can help me? You know, and that's the thing about meal prepping. I think sometimes people are like, I don't want to dedicate a whole day for meal prepping, but this is so helpful because then, I guess the first thing you should know about me is I am not a morning person. I would much prefer to sleep in. So having this done means that either the night before or the morning of, I can go in the freezer. I can either grab like a chicken stroganoff or a veggie ziti or soup, like no matter what I'm craving, but also no matter what I'm cooking for dinner. So if I'm doing a heavier point dinner, I know I should probably grab the white chicken chili because that's 0 points. So you kind of get where I'm going with it. So it's a lot of work up front, but the payoff is very much worth it in my opinion. Here's the start of the veggie ziti, veggie lasagna, veggie bake, I don't know, whatever it makes sense to be called. So what I did was I cut up 2 small zucchini. I think I used, well yeah, I know I definitely used the other third of the onion that you saw earlier. And then I added a couple of Roma tomatoes. Let's see what else. Garlic, just from the squeeze tube. Roasted red peppers, you could use fresh, but I just like the texture and the taste of these. These are packed in water. And then I've got like a big can of mushrooms. So what I'm gonna do is cook all of this down so that things kind of start, like the zucchini will start getting soft a little bit. Just kind of mix this around, make sure it's well incorporated. And then what I will do is I will add 1 can of diced tomatoes. Now you might be thinking, you already put 2 tomatoes in there, why are you adding this? So I had the tomatoes, so I thought I'm gonna throw those in there. But also I don't drain this. So this kind of like creates the sauce. Once that's cooked down, I will add the can of diced tomatoes, and then I'm gonna add the rest of the bag of spinach. Once this is done, I will add a mixture of part skim ricotta, low-fat cottage cheese. I'll plop that on top. I'm cooking this in a skillet. So I will put this skillet in the oven at 350 for like 30 to 40 minutes until things kind of really start getting bubbly. If the cheese hasn't browned a little bit, oh yeah, the other cheese is part skim shredded mozzarella. So I'll probably, like, I'll show you how I do it. I'm probably just gonna plop the ricotta and cottage cheese in spots all over this and then put the shredded mozzarella on top. The other thing I didn't mention is that before I put the cheese on top, I am going to just mix a whole bunch of random Italian spices in here. So I'll probably do like a little bit of basil, oregano, parsley, some garlic, salt, pepper, that kind of stuff. I don't measure it, I just like over the whole top. So if you weren't going to put cheese on the top, which I recommend you do, but you don't have to. If you were just gonna do all the veggies, which would probably be a really good side dish too, this is 0 points. I think on all plans, I don't think anything that I used is points on the green plan. Once you add the cheese on top, it will equal out to be 3 points a serving, and this will make 4 really good sized servings. So once I get this all cooked down, I'll kind of show you how I finish it off before I put it in the oven. Alright, so when I put the recipe into the recipe builder, I decided that I was going to use 70 grams of this cheese. Let's see how much that ends up being. Should be a pretty significant amount. And this is going to go on top once I get the other cheeses plopped in there. There we go. Alright, mozzarella's done. Now I'm going to switch this out. 0 that. And now I'm grabbing the ricotta and the cottage cheese. So I said that I would use 139 grams of the cottage cheese. All right, so I've got 139, and now I need 104 of the ricotta. You can make this like however you want. If you don't want to use this much cheese, just reduce the amount, and you might be able to even like save yourself on some points, but this is what I want to do. So 104. So I've got those both measured out, so I'm just gonna mix this, and then I'll show you me putting it on top of the veggie mixture. You could like mix this in completely if you wanted to, but I feel like the last time I did it, it melted and it spread out. And then take my shredded mozzarella and just like sprinkle it all over. You could use fat-free. I do not have any currently, so this is what I'm using. That's what it looks like before it goes in the oven. So when it's done, I will, oh, it's gonna look so good. And it's gonna smell so good in here. It already does. So I'll show you what it looks like when it is all done. It smells like I baked like a ziti, which it pretty much is, just doesn't have any noodles. So I'm gonna let that cool. The white chicken chili is done, so I'm gonna actually turn that off. I'm gonna get my hand mixer out and put that in there and just shred the chicken that way, so I don't have to pull the chicken out, pull it apart, put it back. And then that'll be done, and I can put that away, and then all of the lunches are done. I didn't get to doing the breakfast yet. Probably do that later tonight. I just took my hand mixer and, hey girl, and put it in here. It did break up a little bit of the beans, but that's fine. The main goal was to shred the chicken, which it did. So I'm going to ladle this into, I think, 4 of those. And then I will have 12 lunches done. All right, here's the last thing I'm probably gonna do tonight other than throwing together a fruit salad. So here's the bacon and egg cups that I was talking about earlier. I did line each muffin tin with a silicone liner because these have a hard time popping out of my pans for whatever reason, probably because I need new ones. So there's bacon. I did a half a slice, then I added in scrambled egg. So these are gonna go in the oven for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. In retrospect, I probably wouldn't have cooked the bacon first. I would have just thrown it all together and done it at once, but the reason I did that is because in the past when I've made these, the bacon doesn't really get that crispy. So, in the oven, 15 minutes. Here we go. So when the bacon and egg cups come out, they're like super fluffy, but once they cool off a little bit, they shrink down. So I'm guessing one of these, I would probably count it as 1 point because there is some bacon grease in there and then half a piece of bacon. So today we are doing a meal prep. That is my pet peeve when people say we. Okay, do I want... He's so loud. I will link her channel below. Is there something on my